Namaste students. Let's start with a new chapter, the seventh chapter from Springs, The Gardener by P. Lankesh. P. Lankesh is not no one else but Palya Lankesh was born on 8th March 1935 and he died on 25th January 2000. He is an Indian poet, fiction writer, playwright, translator, screenplay writer and journalist who wrote in Kannada language. He was also an award winning film director. He was born in a small village in Shimoga, that is of Karnataka, after graduating with an honors degree in English from Central College at Bangalore. Lankesh completed his Master of Arts degree in English from Maharaja's College, Mysore. The present chapter, The Gardener, was written by P. Lankesh in Kannada and it was translated by H. S. Raghavendra Rao. H. S. Raghavendra Rao is a retired professor of Kannada. He has worked at National College, Jayanagar, Bangalore, Kannada University, Hampi, and Central Institute of Indian Languages, Mysore. He is a well known literary critic and translator. The Gardener is a narrative of human competition that turns into rivalry, thanks to greed. The writer has adopted two different modes of narration. The writer sets the tone while the character, Tamanna, narrates the whole story. If you see, the story begins with saying that elaboration can only impoverish this account and make it less authentic. Elaboration is what? If I go on elaborating the story, what will happen? The writer says, I will make the writer poor or I will make it less authentic. What is authentic? Conforming to reality. I conceived this story in a flash. It has its genesis in my chance encounter with an old man. The word genesis means origin. It has its origin in my chance encounter with an old man. He was standing in a coconut grove near Chennarayapatna. His eyes were suffused with strange memories and native intelligence. Suffused means spread over. He had, you can see when he saw his eyes, he felt that this particular person is a very, well experienced person. Native intelligence means having an inborn intelligence. He stood there, a tall figure, hair gone grey, a long beak like nose, and strong muscular arms. In one hand, a spade used to tend coconut trees, a newspaper tucked under his arm. He was a laborer, overseer, and philosopher, all rolled into one. Now, if you see, he has nicely described this particular old man. Narrator is introducing us to the character in the story. He says he was a laborer. He was an overseer. Overseer is the one who you can see the next use meaning word used for this overseer is supervisor and philosopher. Philosopher, you can say lover of wisdom. So he was a laborer, he was overseer and philosopher, all rolled into one. So this was about description about the man who came to his garden to ask for a job. He came to this garden one day after walking hundreds of miles. The owner of this plantation needed a person exactly like him. A few words were exchanged. The old man stayed on. He was really useful. He was well versed in agriculture and could understand the problems of workers. The petty thefts in the garden came to an end. The income from the garden improved dramatically. There was a perceptible change in the lifestyle of the owner. The plantation expanded, but the owner became lethargic and shied away from hard work. The owner became lazy and he acquired bad habits. His wife found all this very strange. She found it hard to decide whether the old man's arrival was for the better or for the worse. The husband's wealth, her husband's wealth and social prestige had risen higher. He acquired a number of friends in the next town and equal number in his own village. Even though he had precious little to do, his life became crowded with colorful events. She became apprehensive. Apprehensive means what? It was very quick. She was smart enough to understand about his adultery. Adultery means about his unfaithful behavior. And umpteen other vices. Umpteen means relatively large number of other wrongdoings cultivated lately, thanks to his newly acquired clout. Their farm, which was merely 10 acres, had grown beyond their imagination. That was fine, but their life also was gradually getting out of hand. Getting out of hand means to become difficult to control. Of course, though the old man had come to the garden, to his farm, he was tackling all the problems, but now there arose a big problem, or you can say the problem was the owner became lazy, he became lethargic, and he acquired bad habits which worried his wife. And she had come to meet the old man. Old man saw that yes, the owner's wife is tense. He understood what is the matter, and then he started narrating a story. What is the story? He said that okay, you can say it is about Tamanna and Basavaya who were rivals. He narrated a story about Tamanna and Basavaya who were rivals. They competed against each other to acquire land, name, fame, and even friends. When Tamanna acquired 1,000 acres of land, Basavaya forcibly took and fenced 200 acres of Tamanna's land. Tamanna tried many ways to get back his land but could not. He started composing ballads of his bitter experiences and sang them. Tamanna became famous for his ballads and art became his goal of life. Even though Basavaya acquired material wealth, he felt that he could not achieve what Tamanna had achieved through his ballads. Tamanna philosophically tells the owner's wife that man needs wealth, education, art, and many more things, but he still lives a competitive life. And competition is the reason for his existence. If there was no competition, there would be no reason for man's existence. That is what he tries to explain through the story of these two rivals, that is Tamanna and Basavaya. Tamanna is rich, Basavaya also is rich. They had a rivalry of acquiring more than what the other person had. And because of it, the rivalry went to the height that Tamanna's land was snatched, was acquired by Basavaya by force, and Tamanna could do anything, couldn't do anything, but he thought of yes, okay, fine. The best way to have a competition with Basavaya is to start writing ballads, start singing ballads which Basavaya couldn't. Basavaya shrunk in humiliation. Nevertheless, he started filling his life with all kinds of material wealth. He got a palatial mansion built for himself. Palatial means a very big palace. He built a very big house. He appointed a number of persons just to praise him. He even covered himself, we can say, he covered himself with gold, diamonds, and other precious stones. But his house looked dull and empty because Tamanna's books were not there. That is what the visitors told him. Therefore, he started inviting scholars, poets, and musicians to his place. This was his way of investing his home with meaning. So you can say such type of rivalry was there between Tamanna and Basavaya. One day, he came to know that Tamanna was ill. At that point, Basavaya found the means of surpassing Tamanna. Health is wealth. You may sing, you may write ballads, but if Tamanna started suffering from disease, surely his own spirits would be revived. Tamanna's disease was Basavaya's health. Now he explained this story, he told this story just to bring home or just to make her understand that taking competition out of man's life is death to him. If you say he wanted to tell the owner's wife that your husband, when he was tackling the problems over here, he had challenges, he had some goal to live in life, but now what has happened? Now he takes care of all these things and now he has nothing to do. He has become rich and so he's not going to listen to what you're going to say. We have why? Because there is no competitor in his life. He has acquired lots of wealth. He now have only friends and all those friends are not the true friends but they are false friends who had come to him just for the sake of his money. Tamanna knew that a nation is capable of withstanding strains, but human temperament doesn't allow this. Rivalry, in fact, not only exists in a limited scope but has its impact in a broader sense. He refers to rivalry between Russia and America. If you remember, these two great nations, there was a cold war going on between these two nations and Tamanna gives example of America and Russia. He says that Russia told America, I am not your enemy. I shall not wage a war against you. What must have been the reaction of America? Of course, America, when America got to know that there is no more rivalry to it or there is no more competitor, what may be the reaction of America when Russia told that I am not your enemy, I am stopping the competition with you? The sworn enemy of Russia to this declaration. Probably you will not understand the agony and boredom of America once it knew Russia was no more an enemy. A nation is capable of withstanding strains like this, but a human being cannot. And then he says, I suffered a similar fate. I thought my death alone could destroy Basavaya. I gave up everything and started off. A few days after I left, Basavaya passed away. Now, why Basavaya passed away? Because the people actually, when he got to know from the people that Tamanna is dead, because Tamanna's plan was okay, fine, if I destroy myself, if I prove that I am no more, what will Basavaya do? So he thought that his death alone could destroy Basavaya. So he gave up everything and he started off. When Basavaya got to know from the people that Tamanna is dead, he didn't feel like living. He found no meaning in his existence, so he passed away. Listening the news or getting when he heard the news that Tamanna is no more, he felt there is nothing to live, and one day even Basavaya ends up his life. You can say he passes away. When Tamanna came to know this, he forgot all his songs and ballads. When Tamanna got to know that Basavaya, his rival, is no more, he forgot all his songs and ballads, and you can say it's Tamanna who had come to the owner's land, their farm, or you can say agricultural garden, to ask for a job, and the person who's narrating the story is none other than Tamanna. He made her clear that he was Tamanna. He told all this to her and added that her husband is not amenable. Amenable means willing to respond to persuasion or suggestions because he is rich now. He advises the owner's wife to forget the story as if she had dreamed it and goes out to pay a visit to the laborer's child who was bedridden with fever. So this is what the story ends. And at the end, the narrator says, forgive me. unable to elaborate. Now, henceforth, I cannot elaborate the story more. I'm ending up my story here itself. I have told you whatever I felt as it is. I had seen all this in a dream. The writer also says that this particular story, I told you as it is, I had seen this story in a dream. So with this, we end with this particular chapter. It's very, very interesting, which tells that a person requires something or a goal to carry forward or go on with his life. Once the goal is no more, once there is no fixed destination, the person thinks life is meaningless. Here he has given about unbearable vengefulness, you can say unbearable rivalry. Because of this rivalry, there was always a competition, and both these rivals, or you can say even America and Russia, whenever they were like had a competition, they tried their best to do the best and move forward to prove that they are the best. So if there is no rivalry, life becomes meaningless. So with this, we end the chapter. The chapter's name was The Gardener by P. Lankesh. Thank you.